Thank you, Vani Vasudev and Vasudev. While I might have had years of experience in the presentation or training, this is the first time I am doing an online presentation. That's a different challenge by itself. It has its plus and it has its minus. I think more plus maybe. So at the outset, let me thank Vani and Vasudev and participants of Meditation and Study Circle for giving me this opportunity, and all my friends and others who responded with questions and what they would like as expectations. Some of them may get covered during my presentation because I have actually taken care of them, and some of the others later on I will leave it for Vani and Vasudev to suitably consider how to answer them or in some program. I think with all my planning, I forgot to have a glass of water. If you excuse me, I'll get one glass of water.
Yes, sir. Please have it.
Thank you for your understanding. It's always a challenge to talk to participants of meditation and study circle for the simple reason, as I said in my post, all of them attend weekly satsang, weekly meditation and study circle meeting in English on Monday, in Kannada on Tuesday. Plus, Vani and Vasudev have been holding 7-day spiritual retreat for several years, even though Malati and I have not been able to attend because 7 days is difficult for us personally, but majority of the group have been attending. So they are already well versed in spiritual teachings. So my talk will cover what I mean by fistful of food as in the context of spirituality. Then I will mention about who am I. Ramana Maharishi's famous self-inquiry process of that question, and who are they, who are the others, and then God. So finally it is, one can say, in a way, trinity of myself, others and God. So it's all a question of relationships. On top of that, what is creation plan? What is divine plan? And over that comes yugas. And finally, how do we manage our life? What is our journey? Because always an analogy of journey is given, or of a forest is given. You have entered a forest, and then how we should go. So this is the overall structure of my talk, integrating whatever questions came, some answers to them. Plus, I would like to make it a bit more interactive in the sense, even though it's not face to face, I would like participants either to unmute and share or put it on the chat as and when the opportunity arises. So I will make my program design in that manner. So if any of you have any expectations This is a time, take about 30 seconds to type in the chat, other than those who are already sent some questions and some expectations. If any of the participants want to add anything, think about something, what you would like to know. How many of you remember March 24th, 2020? What is special about that? Put it on the chat. What was March 24th, 2020? Or unmute and say, oh yes, Vasudeva Narayan, lockdown has started. Naresh Babu, lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. So just over a year has passed the lockdown period, thanks to pandemic. Nobody predicted the pandemic, as we all know. And 1 year has passed. So next I want you to reflect, in 1 year, how have you utilized to progress spiritually? What has been your thrust area? What is one change you brought in your life? 1 year, most of us, in fact, my wife and I have been mostly confined. I think out of 365 days, we must have been confined to our home for 360 days. At the same time, we all, group of us who are present here, must count our own blessings. Because I don't think any of us have been affected by the pandemic to the extent like losing a job or losing some revenue or getting into some problem. I think as far as our life is going, it is continuing as it was before. Like, for example, milk is getting delivered, newspaper is coming, we order online. So except being confined to the house. So how have you utilized this time? 1 year, when you look back 1 year, this opportunity will not come again. And that is what the scriptures teach. We waste lifetimes, may not be applicable to group of who are present here, but majority waste their lifetime. So we have, I don't know how many of us have wasted 1 year. Self-inquiry, very good. Naresh Babu has put yes. He was a former managing director of HAL and he was also officiating chairman many times. Self-inquiry. But he had done a Trinity job. He had done 3 directors' job. Great person. And now spending most of his time on the spiritual quest. Now please think of what spiritual belief you have acquired and adopted. State one spiritual belief which has helped you during the lifetime, during this challenge. One spiritual belief. Life is uncertain. Attending to domestic course more than before. Who is the cause of this pandemic? Many levels of meditation, Ramamani. Getting closer to our kids, Malati. Human, Prakash. Naresh Babu, ourselves. Who is responsible for pandemic? How many of you remember chapter 11 of Gita? And then when it comes to pandemic, we tell no single cause or ourselves. It is God. All circumstances are engineered by God. We read Vishwarupa Darshanam in chapter 11. Then how do we integrate into our life? God is in control. Running of this world is his responsibility. So one of the beliefs you can take is all circumstances are engineered by God. In fact, Vadi didn't add during the introduction, I had the benefit of reading Gita from a very young age to my grandfather, maternal grandfather. It was almost every day evening I have to go to his house, which was not very far, walking distance. And then I had to read half an hour. Of course, my brothers also used to take turn, but most of the time being youngest, the responsibility will fall on me. And then I really used to also like it. And from there, one of the beliefs I acquired was, I am never alone, Krishna is with me. I am never alone, Krishna is with me, like he was with Arjuna. So many times I used to go sometimes to movies alone. My friends will ask, you are going alone? I used to tell them, no, I am not going alone. Inside I used to tell, I never used to tell them I am never alone, God is with me or Krishna is with me, because they may laugh at me. So that's another belief system you can have. We are never alone. We say he is our father and mother, and then we behave as if he is not interested in us. Very good, accept life as it comes. Sunita Nagarajan, beautiful. So how this idea of fistful of water came, fistful of food came. I was attending one of the discourse some years back on Gita by a very famous Swamiji. So in one discourse, at the end of the discourse, when the time came for question and answer, I mean, I can sometimes take liberties of asking such questions, frankly rather. So I asked the Swamiji, in Hinduism there are so many teachings. We say Vedas, then we say Upanishads, 108 Upanishads, then Gita, then there are so many gurus, then lot of Puranas, and then what do we do? Where should we start? And even though Krishna has very clearly said, Gita consists of all what is covered in Veda and Upanishads and no need to read anything else. Mind wants to keep on going to this talk and that reading and this reading. So what would you advise, Swamiji, please? I am really asking. So it's a good question. You read only verse 5 of chapter 15. That's enough. And if you want, you can read verse 55 of chapter 11. And if you have the time, if you can spare and if you can devote, then you can read some chapters. So it is up to you. Take one. I didn't know what was verse 5, chapter 15. Of course, chapter 15, most of the devotees will read every day or every week. Purushottama. So what chapter 5 says? Verse 5, free from pride and delusion, with overcoming attachment and dualities of likes and dislikes. Be fully concentrate on the goal, automatically free from delusion, with equanimous mind. So that is sufficient. And we know chapter 11 verse 55 says, worship me, I am the supreme. Avoid hating anybody, free from hatred. All tall order. I am not saying I am a very big example. No, I am also equally struggling. I am also equally going. In fact, I attended one program by one Tibetan, what do you call them, all those who are supposed to be, like Dalai Lama, like that, they are
Monk.
Rinpoche you call.
Monk.
Pardon?
Monk.
Long, like that, yeah. He was a Rinpoche. And his biodata, if you read that Rinpoche was from a very young age, he became a Tibetan monk and a leader, and he had done regularly 3-year retreat and then leading 3-year retreats and all that. His program was very nice, 2-day program. In the context of what we are discussing, free from hatred, he was very jovial also. He used to tell a lot of jokes. So what he said is, if you learn to live with a crocodile, you can live with anyone. I can never forget that. If you learn to live with a crocodile, most treacherous animal, you can live with anyone. That's what that Rinpoche said. Joy of Living is one of his famous books. So water is plenty on the earth, but we drink enough to satisfy our thirst. Similarly, we go to a banquet. Of course, we may overeat, but only to the extent our stomach can take, and maybe supper later on. But if we have some self-control, we choose and eat. But that is a physical body. But when it comes to mind, it wants more and more and more. The greed first starts in the mind only. And one of the spiritual teachings says, finally greed which has to be overcome is taking more and more and more of anything. And can you first start with food? And the other day Vani was quoting, going to Kashi, going to Varanasi, you are supposed to live in our custom, what I have learned from a young, and of course I also went to Varanasi. As GM HL, that was one of the privileges, because Korwa division is very near Varanasi and they will arrange all your needs. You have to give up favorite 2 things of sweet, 2 vegetables, 2 fruits, like that. Everything in pairs you have to give up. What you like the most. So that is to overcome attachment. Anyway, you all know that I am carrying cold to Newcastle. So that's not my intention. What I am trying to say is, what is best in a situation you should adopt. Like I said, God is in control of this pandemic. It is his responsibility. What is the learning we can have? How can I count my blessings? How can I help people? Or what can we do? Now I'll quote another example from my own experience. I attended Vani Vasudev's Upadesha Sharam, 30 verses. I only adopted verse 1, which suited my situation, and that is sufficient for me. That is fistful of food for me. What is verse 1? Whatever will happen, whatever is bound to happen, will happen. However much you try to avoid it, you cannot avoid it from happening. Whatever will not happen, will not happen. However much you try to make it happen, you cannot make it happen. That is sufficient to face the life. Whatever will happen, will happen. Whatever will not happen, will not happen. Knowing that, live in peace. And as Sunita Nagarajan, they said, accept life as it comes. Great. So with that, we move on to who am I? Even though Ramana Maharishi asks, who am I? We should always remember, I am Annamaya Kosha. I am Pranamaya Kosha. I am Manonmaya Kosha. I am Vijnanamaya Kosha. I am Anandamaya Kosha. These 5 koshas constitute my personality. And it gets attached to a name and form. Form is given by these koshas. The name is given Janakiram, Malati, Vadi, Vasudev, Prakash, Naresh Babu, Sunita Nagarajan. So, we should get detached with a name and form. All problems start by getting too much attached to name and form. And then the ego starts building up. We are all familiar with that. But then these 5 koshas, from where the life has come, from where divinity comes inside, where is it said from where the divinity comes inside? Since that Swamiji said to read verse 5 of chapter 15, then I read chapter 15 in detail. And 7th verse says, an eternal part of myself, manifesting as a living soul in the world of beings, attracts to itself 6 senses. Which are the 6 senses? 5 senses plus the mind, which rest in Prakriti. So this is where Krishna has said how the divinity comes in it, what we call a soul. So we should always remember, yes, authority is in verse 7 of chapter 15. So fistful of food, take something what is useful for you. Like Upadashasaram verse 1 is sufficient for me. I am never alone. Krishna is with me. God is in control of all circumstances. In fact, that is how I had met Malati, because God was in control of circumstances. That's how we met each other and married. That may be another time when we meet, I can explain. But what is the analogy we normally give? Ocean and wave. Then we should relate to verse 7 of chapter 15. Or we say jar and space, fish and the ocean, bird and the sky. Now I'll ask participants who are there, 33 I see from this meeting. Can you please type in the chat or unmute and tell what is the creation plan? Whatever comes to your mind in 1 or 2 sentences, what is the creation plan? Have you any time wondered? I'm sure you must have wondered. So what is the plan of creation? Whatever, it's okay. There's no right and wrong. We are all learning from each other. We are all travelers on the journey.
Namaste, Jankiramji.
Yes, please.
This is not about creation plan, Mani here.
Yes.
You said everything is orchestrated by God.
Yes.
So I would like to add a small addition to that, if I may.
Yes.
Everything is orchestrated by God in accordance with our prarabdha karma.
Good. Very good. In accordance with the part of the karma.
Yes.
I come from a belief system where I don't believe in karma. Then what happens? It's okay. That's another discussion. Good. Prarabdha karma. Because there are major religions in the world which don't believe in karma. It's okay. But very good point. Orchestrated by Prarabdha karma. That is the tune. But what I am asking is the creation plan. What is the major design of creation plan and what is this Maya we are talking about? I want at least one. Naresh Babu has put to move from ignorance to knowledge, creation plan. From what is that? Avidya to Vidya. Good. I'll wait for one more person to put before I share what is really creation plan. Because see, when it comes to new words, we go to a dictionary. Because, or even known words, sometimes to know the correct meaning, we go to dictionary. Of course, nowadays you need not go to dictionary. You can put in Google, you will get the meaning. Or you put in Google different meanings, I want thesaurus, it will give you. That's authority. Similarly, scriptures are the authority. They are not dependent on what you and I think. And they are not dependent on selective taking of words from the Kishpar. I have come across some friends from different religion. They selectively choose. No, you can't selectively choose. So creation plan is to know thyself or to understand. The Creator has made excellent creation and made us also creators. We have to do our role instead of looking at the Supreme Creator. Good. But creation plan is short physical life. Long afterlife. That's a creation plan. Why it is so, we can't question. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years we live. Then three major religions believe after that you spend eternity in some form or another, in some place, depending on what you did here, depending on what are your deeds. They give more emphasis to what you spoke and what you did, action. Now Hinduism also says, Krishna says very clearly in the Gita also, repeat and birth and life. You know, Shankara's often we quote, no, Punarabi Jananam, Punarabi Maranam. Short life. And can any of you guess what is the kind of afterlife in the belief system of three major religions where there is rebirth? I have heard this from Ma Manize, who was the founder of School of Ancient Wisdom. I have read in theosophical books. Buddha said, even though that time dimension is different, we can't really relate, it is multiplied by 100 of what time you spent here. So 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 years. So most of us, we are all in a group like meditation and study circle. We all know we are all of similar vibration and we all will again, when we take rebirth, will come together to progress further. Even though our aim is to overcome this repeated birth and death, that is our goal, but that's not in our hands. That is in God's hands. So we hope we will be relieved of this burden of taking birth and death again and again. But granting that we are on a journey, we all will come back after 5,000, 7,000. That means in 9,000 AD, 10,000 AD. But we should be prepared for that when we come to contribute. So remember that is the creation plan, short physical life. And we should live our life according to fistful of food. Take something suitable and modify. What is the core teaching? Become unselfish. core teaching, overcome ego, serve others, serve humanity, contribute to evolution, contribute to progress. So Krishna says in chapter 7, verse 27, at birth all beings are immersed in the delusion of pairs caused by desire and aversion, and thus are subjected to ignorance. So this is why at birth itself we are ignorant, because all that what we learned now, meditation and studies until week after week, spiritual retreat, next birth all these are forgotten. Okay, you may be born with opportunities to progress further. That is how we are born in those circumstances and families, and we are all attending here on a Monday evening, a talk. Because we are a different time. We pursue this because we are that somewhere we left it. And that is what Yudhishthira and Yaksha's story. Most of you know that, so I don't want to repeat. That's the greatest wonder, he said. Not that people don't know that they are going to die. Everybody knows. But they live as if they are not going to die. You know, a lovely couple, they were married for 30 years. It was a love marriage also. And they were living in Delhi. And the husband was about to retire. So they had made all plans how to lead the retired life. Immediately after retirement, they should go on a world trip. They should see all places which they had called bucket list. And there are few months left for retirement, so they were busy planning that. Then naturally, like any couple, you also decide where I want to settle, how do I want to settle. All that planning was going on. So this happened in June 97, 14th June to be precise. They were getting ready evening to go for shopping. So the husband said, I will just go change my dress and come. Wife was already dressed. He wanted to change his t-shirt to another t-shirt. So he went inside, didn't come out. Wife was waiting for some time, he didn't come. So then she went inside and saw he had collapsed. He had died of a massive heart attack. Just in a second, just imagine what has happened. They had a small son. They had, of course, made a lot of plans for him. Just in a moment. And who was that? My immediate elder brother. He was Air Commodore in Air Force, Air Commodore Gauri Shankar. It was such a shock for all of us. First of all, he was in Air Force, so they would have done all medical exams. And in our family, no known case. All that you can give reasoning later on. But then the matter was over in no time. So in chapter 2, verse 28, Krishna says, the beginning of all beings is unseen, veiled. The middle is manifested, seen. And their end is again unseen, imperceptible. Why then lament this truth, Arjuna, he says. But today a lot of information is available. A lot of near-death experience books are there, after-death experience books are there. Most of us can know. A lot of publications are available. What happens after death? What are the kind of lokas in which we travel? Ma Manise used to tell, we have to go to astral world. Before that, we have to go to Kamaloka, spend 40 to 100 years there, then go to astral world, then go to Divachan, which is called heaven world, and then come back again, as I said, after several hundred or several thousand years. Just as a man, this was my favorite verse from Gita when I was young and when I was studying for my grandfather. 22, chapter 2. So I always used to call 222. And when I used to come back from school or whenever I used to take bath, I used to act this verse. Just as a man casts off worn out clothes and puts on others which are new, so the embodied soul casts off worn out bodies and enters others which are new. And this Gita, what I was reading, had lot of Ramakrishna's parables. Commentary used to be there. It was Tapavanam Publications. And one of the many Ramakrishna's parables I remember, and I really liked them because they are quite simple. So, in the context of what we are discussing, Ramakrishna says, when you go to a new city, what will you do? First, you will go and find out if you have some relative, you will go to relative's house to stay. Otherwise, you will go to some hotel or some dharamsala, keep everything there, and then you are free to move about. So Ramakrishna's parable was this, that when you go to a new place, you are free, you keep all your burdens, all your luggage, everything there, then you are free to roam about. Similarly, you should cast all your burdens on the Lord. Catch hold of Lord's feet. Then you are free to live in this world, as you said, accepting all which comes, as it comes. God engineers all circumstances. So, beautiful parable, and it has a very much relevance because it's a temporary. So, when you go on a picnic, will you be morose? Will you be upset? Will you get angry? Will you go on a picnic? You will be joyful. You will enjoy with everybody. So, why do we come here and then make all problems and mischief and troubles? So, we should be joyful, promote harmony, promote love, promote joy, promote happiness, promote peace. Because this is a picnic. Love, dance, sing. Then chapter 15 verse 8, Krishna says how we leaves our body. When the Lord as the Jiva acquires a body, he brings with him the mind and the senses. And when he leaves the body, he takes them and goes. Even as the wind takes away scents from the dwelling places in flowers. So what vasanas with which we came and with what vasanas we will go, we should be very clear. Now you can take a minute or two and think with what vasanas we have come here, what samskaras we have come here. And how are we going to change those vasanas and samskaras? So by the time Krishna comes to carry us or take us, we actually have good vasanas. We should go with a pleasant smell, not foul smell. So what are the vasanas? All of us are born with samskara. So what kind of inclinations we have, what habits we have, what qualities we are born with? Some of them, if we can think of, some qualities we are born with, some qualities we acquire. Then some qualities we try to improve. And Krishna says 6 poisons we should overcome. We are all familiar. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. What is more important from a corporate perspective is, and from a fistful of food, what is the benchmark? What is the benchmark for this? Who is the person, in your opinion, in Puranas or in various scriptures, who is without any anger? I don't want to go into Kama because Kama is a very complex subject, desire. But let us take Krodha. who is completely patient. We ourselves know people who are like, for example, if I tell Malati, I have seen in 48 years of or 49 years of married life, I have never seen her get angry. I have seen my father who never got angry. Okay, by the time I was born, my father was 47 years. And by the time I was 27 years, he passed on. But in that period, maybe from the age of, let us say, when I could make out from the age of 10 or so, that means 17 years, I have never seen him get angry. So can you have role models like that? Or from Puranas and mythologies, Yudhishthira, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, pride, Matsarya, who is for humility, example. So we should remember chapter 15, verse 8, Krishna's chapter 7, verse 7, he says how he comes in, how he is going out, he tells in the next verse itself. Thanks to the Swamiji, and that is where I got the idea of fistful of what is 700 verses are there in Gita. 576 verses are spoken by Krishna. From that, 5 verses are sufficient for me. I have adopted. And maybe 2 more I will tell later on as we go along. Now, Annamaya Kosha, what is this body? What is this body? I want you to put on the chat. What is this body? This I learned from Chinmayananda's lectures and commentary. What is this body? I don't think there are any birth qualities. Genes cover that, genes. Prakash DR has put, no, your genetic makeup is from the karmic print. And then environment, of course, influences. If you go to YouTube and listen to Bruce Lipton, you can learn more how the environment influences, but there is a genetic print also. Medium for interaction with the external world, body, Naresh Babu. Group of cells, Ramamani. Sunita Nagaraj and vehicle. What Chinmayananda has said, it is only a shadow of the soul. Always remember that body is the shadow of the soul. And Chinmayananda used to tell, I think Mani also sometimes I have heard her telling this example, that you will be bothered with what happens onto the shadow. Somebody walks out the shadow, somebody spits on the shadow, somebody runs over the shadow. Will you get upset? Will you be affected? So, Chinmayananda ji used to tell, remember that. You should never get upset or affected because this is a shadow. Shadow of the soul. This name and form is a shadow of the soul. So that is how you develop equanimity. That is how you get developed unperturbed nature. We are all on the journey. More and more effort we have to make. Now we move on to Yuga cycles. All of us are familiar, Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga and Satya Yuga. How many of you know? Anybody who knows how the Yuga are originated, please type yes. I know how the Yugas are originated. Because Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. And 3000 BC Kali Yuga started. So we have another 4,27,000 years to go. 8,64,000 is Dwapara Yuga. 12,96,000 years is Treta Yuga. 17,28,000 is Satya Yuga. So how does Yugas originate? From where this period comes? Any of you know? Please type yes, I know. The cells have tremendous memory power. The cellular memory is manifested in our Annamaya. Yes, very true. Ramesh Kangal Srinivasa Murthy. Yeah, true, very true. All cells carry memory. And that is the reason you have to make changes in cellular level. There are methods to do that. Many of the spiritual teachings help us do that. But how the yugas originate? What is this cycle of huge mind-boggling numbers? Vani or Vasudha, I'm sure must be knowing.
No, I haven't looked into that, Jankiram. I have not paid attention to it.
Pardon?
I have not paid attention to the origination of the yugas.
Okay. See, I think it's a very important thing to remember. So please listen to me carefully, and I'll try to make it as simple as possible. This I learned from theosophical teachings and other teachings. See how the seasons originate, we know. Because the earth is going around the sun. So summer is when it is closest to the sun, and winter is when it's farthest to the sun. So imagine summer, autumn, winter, spring. Summer, autumn, winter, spring. So that is how it originates. But now imagine in the case of yugas, Kali Yuga, ignorance and what we call wisdom or knowledge or overcoming ignorance, it is a question of light and darkness. So Kali Yuga has more darkness. Dwapara Yuga has less darkness, more light. Treta Yuga has much more light. And Satya Yuga has almost full light. Let us say 90 to 95% is fully light. All are knowledgeable. There are very few ignorant people, maybe they're like the Dobi in Ramayana. But otherwise, so full light, then some 70%, 80% light, then 50% light, 20% light. That is how it originates. So for this kind of light to happen, Earth is revolving, the whole solar system is revolving around another central sun in the astronomical plane. So farthest when it is there, it takes 4,32,000 years to come from that farthest position towards the central sun more and more. So Kali Yuga starts, then Dwapara Yuga, then Treta Yuga. Then when Satya Yuga comes, it is closer to the central sun for 17,28,000 years. So I hope all of you got the clarity. So relating to this seasonal of Earth, similarly it revolves around the central sun. So after Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So that is how it happened. That elliptical orbit keeps on going. So this is the Maya. Maya is majority don't understand the creation plan of short life, physical life, long afterlife, eternal life. That is the whole Maya. So how can you overcome Maya is explained very clearly in chapter 7, verses 13 to 19. That is sufficient to read how to overcome Maya. We all talk about Maya, Maya, Maya. Answer is provided by very well by Krishna. How can you overcome? If any of you have gone to hypnotic programs, have been hypnotized, and who can remove once you are hypnotized? Only the hypnotist who hypnotized you. So Krishna says, I have hypnotized you. So I can only remove. So surrender to me. Come to me. Now I will ask every participant, just think, what will happen 10 years from now? I want you to type, 1 or 2 people to type. Yugas keep cycling, yes, because that Prakash has asked, yes, yugas keep cycling like our seasons, Summer, autumn, winter, spring keeps on coming because of this orbit. Similarly, it is getting orbit around the central sun, so yugas keep on cycling. Mahayuga, that yugas keep on cycling. What will happen 10 years from now? I want some of you to put, maybe Naresh Babu has been taking a lot of lead. Hope he is still there. Just put what will happen 10 years from now. Vasudev can put 10 years from now what will happen. Malati can type. Ramesh Puttanna can type. Ramamani, hopefully Corona should have gone, and no, that's very good. A new virus should have come. That's fantastic. I like your humor. Corona version 37 would have come by now, I think. Now Corona 19, I think. Very good. 10 years from now, what will happen? I want another one or two. God only knows is Naresh Babu. I know, you know very well, Naresh Babu. Every one of us know what will happen 10 years from now. Atrocities will keep increasing. No, 10 years from now, all of us will be older by 10 years. That is certain. Like pandemic came, 1 year has passed, which was certain. So 10 years from now, all of us will be older by 10 years.
Sir, I may not survive.
That is left to God, but granting all of us have that kind of a life.
That's it. God only knows.
That's a good one.
So whether one survives or not.
Ayushman Bhava. So then okay, make it 2 years from now, 1 year from now. Okay. What will happen? So tomorrow we will be alive, nobody knows. My mother always says, so that is okay. That is the mindset one should have. If you are alive tomorrow, we will see, she will tell. So that's okay to live with that concept. But 10 years from now, all of us will be 10 years older. So what 1 or 2 significant changes we can make to have an impact on the importance of how we will feel 10 years from now. See, pandemic has gone. 1 year from now, what changes we brought and how we utilize this time, how many of us are 100% happy? I don't think any of us will be 100% happy. Because what is the goal? Self-realization. Goal is who am I? But how much of our time we were able to focus? Okay, we were attending Mani Vasudev Sakra, now she is the Saddarshanam. 40 verses, 30 verses is all I took only one. Here I have to choose now. Saddarshanam, I think first verse only I will take. I, existence, I am. I exist. So every day they recommend what have I done today, we should examine. And how do I measure? When the Japanese came, they told us in HAL, what is the weekly progress you are making? You should measure. How are you different this week compared to last week? How will you be different next week compared to this week? So that was a challenge. Now I hope Manjunath Raju is there. So he was the first one to ask me a question. He asked about Kriya Yoga of Yogananda. It is supposed to be a aeroplane path for self-realization. So hope Manjunath Raju is present. Even otherwise, for the members' benefit, I will tell. I think it is better if you can register for Kriya Yoga, which is a process. It's very important to read, contemplate, and meditate on a regular basis. Yes, very true. Padmini Iyer. Ramamani, people may realize life is uncertain and start routing to nature or God. Many of us would survive and many of us not survive. Now, what I would recommend, I don't know whether I'll be able to put it on the chat. I'll put it on the chat. Please go to www.yssofindia.org. yssofindia.org. There is a process by which you qualify for learning Kriya Yoga. So they will send you 18 lessons over a period of 9 months. 2 lessons every month will come. Some of the lessons are the way to self-realization. It starts with that lesson 1. Meditation, how to know God. Communing with God through prayer. Art of energization. What is spiritual eye? What are the divine laws of heal and healing? What are the cycles of life and death? What is the guru-disciple relationship? What is the Kriya Yoga technique of God realization introduction? Then how should you lead a spiritual life? So these 18 lessons you have to complete, reading and practicing those. There are 3 meditation methods they teach you. One is similar to Soham, but they call it Hongsa. Then there is the Om technique of meditation. And then there are some energization processes. So after learning all this, you can apply for Kriya Yoga. There is another one. There is a Bangalore center. This center is in Ranchi, but it's worth registering there. It's only 600 rupees. And later on, if you are interested, 90 supplementary lessons are available over a period of 3.5 years for about 3,000 rupees total. Another center available in Bangalore, you can look at. anandabangalore.org, that is in JP Nagar. They give a clear 4-path process to learn Kriya Yoga. It will cost you 5,000 rupees. So first path is you have to learn meditation method and energization method. Then they will give you fundamentals of Kriya Yoga, 1,500 rupees. After that, guru and disciple relationship, 1,500 rupees. After that, preparation for Kriya Yoga, 1,500 rupees. After you take all these 4 lessons and practice for a year or so, then you will be initiated into Kriya Yoga. So I would recommend those of you who can spare, it requires about, let us say, once you have learned all this, about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, like any other meditation method. But it's a very powerful meditation method coming from the lineage of Babaji. So Mamani asked some question on death. I think I have covered. If she wants to ask or clarify anything further, we can have it later on, or she can put in the chat. But what dies is our Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Mananmaya Kosha. Then we move on with our Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha to astral worlds, and then to heaven world, and then come back. And that period, most of us, as the theosophical literature says, spend that period in unconsciousness. How to become conscious in the after-death state is only 2 simple things, and that is why if you see all the teachings say you are the immortal soul. So you should have a belief that we are the immortal soul. We should have a staunch belief. We should never have any doubt. I am the immortal soul. Then second, you should have firm faith in the afterlife. You should not have any doubt. Doubt will bring you like that snake in that snake and ladder. You go to 99 and come down, that is a doubt. So you should have a firm belief in afterlife. you should know we are immortal soul. Prakash asked a question on prayer. Anant Agastya asked on different activities, how do we manage remembering God. Kapoor asked on how to overcome anger. I have sent him separately. Puttanna asked on Vairagya. I think Vairagya, how do we learn? If you go by what Chimyananda has said, Vairagya basically is, it is linked to Viveka also. So once you know the transient and permanent, we try to focus our attention more and more on the permanent things and give up the transient things. That is the detachment we have to learn. It's not detaching from relatives and family and children and all. Yes, we should have that attachment, but we should know they are all gifts from God. All are gifts from God. All their soul has their own journey to make. But real detachment should be give up smaller things. Like for example, we have given up watching TV from January. We didn't renew our subscription. Waste of time. Like that, you should focus how much time you are devoting. How does it profit my soul, this activity? So Vairagya is giving up those lesser things. That is what Swami Chinmayananda says. Like when the child grows up, he is not no more interested in playing with toys and things like that. They move on to higher things. So you won't expect a PhD student to come and read nursery rhymes. So that's an example he gives. So detachment is give up those which does not add value. So to conclude my talk, I will say we should cultivate long-term focus. Long-term. In fact, when you read about the Masters, theosophical book, the Masters planned 10,000 years, 20,000 years ahead. We should also think like that. We talk about EI, emotional intelligence. Really it is, we should develop the concept of eternity, infinity thinking. What is eternity? What is infinity? So cultivate long-term focus. Overcome fear and worry with reasoning. See, the other day also Vani was mentioning, we should not think about the past, we should not think about the future, but the nature of mind is that it keeps on going. So what some poor people, Vani also knows, advice is when you think of the past, think of all pleasant things. Think of how you made progress. Recollect all pleasant moments. But the human nature is you recollect always bad moments. Always moments which were not very good. No. Avoid, live in the present, power of now, but when we are unable to do that, think of those pleasant moments. Similarly, future. Avoid thinking about the future. God only knows. But then if you are thinking, think of, as I would have become a self-realized person. In fact, some teachers say already behave as if you are a self-realized person. Cultivate these qualities. Self-realized person, how you will behave without likes and dislikes. Non-hatred, non-covetousness, no lying, no divisive speech, no harsh speech, no stealing, no killing, no sexual misconduct. Live like that. Be free of expectations. Whole life, I am sure, when you look back, all of us, so many things happened which were beyond our expectation. We are much better off because of God has given us. If you and I had planned our life, it wouldn't have been so beautiful as it has turned out to be. Overcome addictions, that is greed. Addiction of anything is bad. And we use some common terminology like PDF. I always think when there is PDF, patience, devotion, forgiveness, I think. So whenever PDF file has to be downloaded, I will look at patience, devotion, forgiveness. So you can always look at some acronyms like that and link it to divinity. LCA program, Naresh Babu is there still, I think. LCA program, I always used to tell, love, compassion, acceptance. ALH, acceptance, love, harmony. And many of you must have heard business process reengineering. Business process reengineering in short form is BPR. It was very popular in the 80s and 90s for a radical transformation. By 40%, 50%, 100%, 200% transformation, BPR. So what is BPR in spirituality? Be thankful in all circumstances. Be thankful in all circumstances. Pray unceasingly. Pray unceasingly. Rejoice always. Rejoice always. Accepting all as gift from God, prasada from God. So there are only two buddhis we developed, Arpana Buddhi, Prasada Buddhi. Be thankful in all circumstances, pray unceasingly, rejoice always. Can we do that? So with that, I conclude my fistful of food, BPR, PDF. God is in control. I am never alone. Krishna is with me. God engineers all circumstances. Forgive, love. This is a short life. We are on a picnic. This is not our true place. But to become worthy of, if you have to be in an exalted place, you have to be in exalted company, you have to be exalted. You know, I went to Varanasi, I mentioned in Varanasi when I went there, in the place where I was staying, there were a lot of professors there, highly intellectual professors from various Banaras Hindu University itself, people were there, and from different IIMs. It was one of the famous place where they used to meet. I was out of place there because in comparison to them. So if you look at masters, can we become master? They are expecting us to become masters. That is the whole goal. The way HAL developed us, we joined as a novice management trainees. Finally, all of us were able to manage divisions and complexes and even company. So I wish you all the very good in your spiritual journey. Famous saying is that once you have come to and entered a forest, will you strike a lone path? No. You will go on a well-trodden path. You will go on a short path. We will go on a straight path. We will hopefully get a guide to take us along. And that guide is the master. So we should follow some master, take his guidance, and then travel without any worry and anxiety. So we should really give up. Famous Ramakrishna's parable of train journey. So whenever I go on metro, I remember that. Thank you.